Hello and welcome to the Melon Buffet Podcast. I'm Tara.
And I'm Charlie. Hello.
So here we are. We're back. We're very late this week. I think this is the first time we've ever not gotten an episode out before the next episode of the show airs. So, it is what it is, folks.
Yeah.
Life just gets in the way.
I've been bad at organising my time this week, so apologies. It's my fault.
She does have a real job, so, that does take precedence.
Some say. Yeah.
So what's going on otherwise than your insane life?
It's been snowing. Like I sent you a picture earlier, and now there's a storm, so, it's raining. The snow is gone because it's been raining and windy as fuck for the past 4 hours. So, yeah, but it's cold. Winter's definitely here. What about you?
My daughter's home again this weekend for no real reason. She just wanted to come home for the weekend. So if you hear faint singing in the background, she's taking classes in my office right now. She's got virtual classes today. So if you hear faint singing or tap dancing or any strange noises like that, that will be why, because I'm sitting out in the dining room, which means you'll probably get the sounds of my dog licking himself on the couch.
Well, we've had that before on the podcast, so it's not a big deal, is it?
So, business as usual, basically.
As long as it's a dog licking himself and not you.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, God.
So, what do we got? Episode 7. Legit glass.
Legit glass. Yeah.
Legit glass. All right. So, we'll get right in with the prize task. Best thing that is bigger at the top than the bottom.
Yeah, tough one, I thought.
Yeah, because of course, Richard went right in with one of the most obvious things, Cornetto, ice cream cone.
Funnel-shaped thing.
Funnel, there's one, but that's a shitty one, but I couldn't think of anything, really. I could not, as I was watching it, I was like, she's going to fucking ask me, and I don't know. And so I have nothing for you, as usual.
The only thing I thought of was myself, because I'm top-heavy. I was like, I would have just been like, ta-da!
I do kind of have that going on myself. So, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, as we said, Richard put in a cornetto, and the Taskmaster was not impressed.
No. Maybe he doesn't like the strawberry ones. Maybe he likes the chocolate ones or something. I don't know. Chocolate mint ones. I don't know. It was a strawberry one.
Well,
right?
And like you said, he felt it was just too easy. He took the daisy route and just grabbed something on the way in,
Yeah, whereas Daisy was more creative this time. I think she made that in the dressing room.
I mean, Captain Budwash, that was hilarious. I bust out laughing. Because when she first started speaking, she was like a cotton bud. I was like, oh, where's this going? Wearing a pirate hat. I was like, what the fuck now?
Yeah, she drew a little face on it and a little Jolly Roger and everything. Brilliant.
I know. You do almost feel like she showed up and forgot that she was supposed to have a prize with her. And
yeah. She's a woman after my own heart. As chaotic as I have been this week. Yeah.
Doing the homework as the teacher's coming around to collect it, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. Johnny brought in a toilet, which was bigger at the bottom than at the top, I thought. Depending on how you look at it, I suppose the bit where you put your bum is bigger at the top than at the bottom. Maybe that's what he was getting at.
Yeah, and the particular one he sent in had kind of a smallish tank on it, so...
Yeah,
but,
it's like mine. Mine are like that. Apparently, for Greg and Johnny, it takes 4 flushes to dispatch whatever they've put in there.
Or the old Victorian pull chain, where you get the good pressure.
Yeah. No, they're cool. Like the one on the Father Ted house. That's what they have.
Yes.
Yeah. You get them in the old pubs in Edinburgh as well.
Yeah, I went to on a vacation once to a ranch out in Montana, and they had those.
Okay.
So it was the Marlboro Ranch. I won a trip. It was fantastic.
You won a trip?
I won a trip
from Lego?
From the Marlboro, cigarettes. It was the Marlboro Ranch. It's the most smoker-friendly place on earth. It was the most amazing trip. And I've been trying to win a trip.
Marlboros?
I smoked so much on that trip. And I wasn't even a smoker anymore, but I was like, if you're going to give me a fucking free vacation, I'm going to smoke. And I've been trying to win another trip back ever since, but it's like trying to find the door into Narnia.
What did you have to do to win that?
I actually didn't. So back in the 90s and early 2000s, I don't know if they had it over there, but Marlboro used to have, you could collect the barcodes off your cigarette packages and save them. They had, it was called Marlboro Miles, and you could save them for prizes, luggage and clothing. My mother used to tons of them because she smoked like a fucking chimney.
I think in the 80s they had something like that, but I don't know if it was in those. But there was something you could collect. Bob Mortimer talked about it on Taskmaster, didn't he? I think. Did he?
I think so. But so anyway, so my mother smoked so much. I mean, she smoked a ridiculous amount, which is why she's no longer with us. But she after a while, they put a limit on how much stuff you could redeem. So she would redeem some under her name, some under my name. And then so I started getting all these things from Marlboro in the mail. And one day I come home from work and there's a package and I open it and it says, "You and a friend are going to the Marlboro Ranch." And I was like, "What?" So I called up the phone number and they're like, "Yeah, that's great. You know, we'll send you out a package." They sent us luggage for the trip. When we got there was like a buffet at the airport.
Was it just loads
we were
of
waiting
fags?
for the bus?
Cigarettes?
I mean, everything. Like we got like high-end, like, hiking gear, boots, coats.
Wow.
Like I still have the ashtray on my porches from there. Like I have tons of stuff from the ranch. They gave you a check to cover the taxes, and there was all sorts of activities. It was all free. You weren't even allowed to tip, food, and the whole thing was like an old Western town. They had moved like some authentic buildings. So it just looked like a little ghost town out of the movies, and you stayed in the buildings, and it was, like I said, one of the greatest trips I've ever had, and I've been trying to fucking win another one ever since.
So I guess that because you won it under the pretense that you were a smoker, then you had to smoke when you were there. Well, that was when you filled out the paperwork, you had to sign that you were a smoker age 21 or over. So I was like, absolutely. And part of your prize, like you got a carton of cigarettes when you arrived, and then they had a little thing behind the bar. It was open bar. You had all you could drink and everything, and live entertainment every night, and you could get cigarettes anytime you wanted. Wow. And so, you know, they taken us, we're going skiing and snowshoeing, and I'm like dying halfway up the mountain. I'm like, why are you taking a ranch full of smokers snowshoeing and hiking and shit? Yeah.
And hiking and shit. We're all out of breath. So there you go.
That's the first tangent of the day.
That was a pretty good one. Yeah.
How did we get onto that?
Where were we?
Because of toilets.
The toilet, because they had the pull chain toilets in the room.
Jesus, right. Okay.
So
I think it should be It's good. Yeah, Catherine. Yeah. She brought an acorn.
Acorn, which at first I did not think that Greg was going to be onto it. I thought he was just going to be like, "Oh, that's shit." He seemed to dig the nature and the permanence, semi-permanence of it, that it was going to grow into an oak, and I don't know, he just seemed to dig it, and it surprised me. He was in a good mood this episode.
Yeah, I think that she just thought of that off the cuff, though. I don't think that was intentional at the time of submission. Yeah. No. Yeah.
And then Mawan was
insane.
So, a mic stand, but it was him as a mic stand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It reminded me of the bonsai tree outfit that Greg made Ed Gamble wear on his tour support.
Okay, yeah.
It was kind of like that kind of thing, wasn't it? Like, I don't know what you call them. All-in-one, unflattering.
Yeah, like a unitard, whatever.
Things. Morph suit? Yeah, kind of like a morph suit.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so points, anyway.
Well, so Richard got 1 for his cornetto, and Daisy 2 for Captain Budwash, 3 for the toilet,
deserved more,
4
really.
for the acorn, and 5 for Mawan, Mike in a stand. Not for us to question, but I'm not sure I totally would have scored it that way myself, but I'm not the Taskmaster. So
you are not.
Moving on. All right.
So task 1 was quite complicated, I thought. I didn't really understand it at first, but that might just be because I wasn't really listening very well. But it was, they had 2 chickens, which seemed to be a running theme. One chicken was attached to a remote control golf caddy, and the other one was on the lap of the person in an office chair. And there was a little circuit laid out, so the idea was to swap the chickens and then get them across either the start or finishing line, depending on where they started from. Does that make sense? Yeah,
yes.
Makes sense in my head.
Get Get to the finish line clutching chicken number 2. Get chicken number 1 across the start line aboard the remote golf caddy. You have to stay on the office chair at all times. If anything touches the little robots, which were at the midway point of the little track, your attempt would be over. So we saw a couple different approaches because some of them kind of went and Richard scooted along like a little old man and he swapped the birds at the end of the track and then went all the way back again, which he didn't need to do.
What I noticed as well, though, is he stood up from the chair, though, at one point, and no one said anything.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Because I was furious. He stood up.
I didn't.
If someone else had done that, he would have pointed that out. You know what he's been like this series.
Well, he has been, yeah. Mawan just, nailed it. He went, met in the middle, swapped the birds, and then just went right to the end.
Yeah. It was brilliant.
But it was one of them. Was it Daisy? She just reached over, swapped the chickens first before starting, which made sense because it only said you had to cross the line with the other chicken. Didn't say you had to do it at any point.
I don't know which one. I think Catherine did that, didn't she? I think. But then she put the task in the bin and then forgot what the task said.
She crossed the finish line with both chickens. So she definitely didn't understand what was going on.
My man was so good, though. Like, when he did his run, I actually turned to my husband and went, do those things know when they're going to crash? Because he didn't crash at all. He just straight around. Amazing.
You know what? Young. He's probably a gamer. He just boom, 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 that's it. Just nailed it.
Yeah. He was really good, though. Really, really good.
I mean, Johnny was just crashing into everything. Like, every other minute was, oh!
Yeah, but Johnny is just a car crash in general anyway, isn't he? He loses his mind almost every task for a little bit.
Catherine and Daisy both made contact or something on their turn made contact with the robots, but they completely denied. I love it. Like, Catherine, did you...
Well, Daisy admitted it straight away. Catherine said nothing happened and carried on. So.
Yeah, no, Catherine lied. Daisy was just like, wait, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she forgot about that during the chorus. Catherine was being shifty.
She's quite a shifty one. She's turning out to be anyway. So points wise, I didn't write down the times. She's not
well, I didn't write down. I mean, Catherine was like over 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I did write that down. I wrote down everyone's times apart from Moan. Sorry. So Moan was fastest.
Yeah. Catherine and Daisy were disqualified, so it didn't matter.
Daisy did it in 3 minutes 23, though. She would have been in second, I think. Johnny did it in 3 minutes 40. Richard 4 minutes 30. And like you say, Catherine was over a quarter of an hour, but was disqualified anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So points wise, Moan got 5. Johnny got 4. Richard got 3, and the two ladies 0 disqualified.
Goose egg.
Huh?
Goose egg. That's what we saw at 0. A goose egg. It must be an American thing.
An egg isn't shaped like a 0. It's shaped like an egg.
We call it a goose egg.
You lot are weird,
when you get
man.
No points.
Nil point.
Anyway, the next task. This one was, just more classic. I mean, the last one was as well, but this one was really classic Taskmaster.
Yeah.
They go into the garage. Tell your teammate what is in this safe. You may speak into the mic, and they will hear your message played backwards. Had 10 minutes to open the safe and record it. Most accurate answer wins.
Yeah. So they had a tape recorder, old-fashioned. Moan didn't know what it was. he's 28 as well. I mean, it's not...
I know! He's not that old, that young. My God.
He had a PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 1. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not that different. But yeah.
No Atari 2600, huh? No.
Is that the wooden one? The one that looks wooden? My friend had one. And my husband, apparently, he used to have one. But no, I didn't have one. My first games console was a Sega Master System, I think.
Okay.
I think I had a Nintendo that a second-hand Nintendo first. The one that's like a grey square box with a little flap on it. I don't know which one that is.
Oh, the original NES, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't... Yeah, I had that because I had Mario and that. But the first one that I got new was a Sega Master System. And I had a Commodore 64. And
we learned on those in school. Oh my God.
I've had all the PlayStations up to now. I haven't got the PlayStation 5 yet, but I will do at some point.
Anyway, like my husband, he's got all the PlayStations. So
yeah.
I just stole his 3 because he's got his 4. He doesn't have a 5 yet, but I just stole the 3 out here.
Mm-hmm.
So
PlayStation 5 is massive, and it's like impossible to get one. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent again. And it's white as well. Anyway.
So yeah, so first the first two had to listen and get the code to open the safe.
Yeah.
So they could figure out what it was that they had to describe, and then they had to figure out the best way to speak into the recording so that when it was played backwards, they would manage it. That the other people would be able to pick it up.
Yeah, I thought Moan was good because he clearly understood the task and he tried to say the words backwards so that when it was played backwards, it would sound forwards and it would be easier to understand.
He did a really good job with that. Yeah, he picked up most of those words. It was really good. It
was a cool cushion though. It was one of those ones with the sequins
the mermaid cushion.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
I bought 2 of those for Marin and her roommate when they moved into their dorms this year. Mm-hmm. So Megan's is black and Marin's is rose gold, but when you flip the sequins up, they both say cunt. That's the kind of mom I am.
That's got to be a first where you've said a worse swear word than me in the recording. Have I swore yet? I don't even know if I have. Have I?
We don't even know we're doing it, so.
I never know I'm doing it, but I'm trying not to as much. So, so Moan did really well. Apart from he thought it was a lamb when it was actually an alpaca, but I mean, I don't know if I would have known. It looked like a llama. Is it a llama and an alpaca the same thing?
It's similar to an alpaca, so yeah. Llama definitely would have been closer, I think.
He still wouldn't have got it though. It's sly, isn't it? You know how strict they are with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Richard, though, is totally shit in comparison.
Yeah. I was like, we were watching it because we all watched it. It was on Thanksgiving here. Yeah. So the girls were home and my husband's here and they're like, what the fuck is he doing? I don't understand. Did he read the task? I don't understand what he's trying to say. Is that some sort of code he's giving? What is he doing?
He had a good idea to say the letters rather than say letters, because I've been getting told off for saying letters. He had a good idea to say the letters of the alphabet, but then he did it in like baby speak, which was rude and mental. It was just annoying me. I was like, why is he doing that? But then he was kind of switching his tactics. I think he was under pressure for this one. But
there was no way that Daisy was going to pick that up.
Yeah, it's a shame as well because Daisy was like, I'll be good at this because she listens to like ghost recordings and things like that. But it was fun to watch her face trying to figure it out. And shouted Milky's, N-O. And
then at the end she's like, why couldn't you pair me with Catherine Parkinson?
Oh man, what a shame. There's always one, isn't there?
Oh man. I mean, so there's not really much else to say about this. It was fucking devious. It really was.
Yeah.
And the team of 3 got 3 points for they got credit for sequin, cushion. Even though they got the word Greg, he didn't give them credit that Greg was on it.
No, because they
said
they didn't believe that there would be a cushion with Greg on it, did they? So
yeah.
And Johnny wanted to say lamb kebab, so it's just as well Catherine overruled them, or they would have had 0.
But still, 3 points, not bad, and 0 for the other 2.
Yeah, no wonder.
So, man.
Next task. I like this one. This one was good. Okay, so the next task was make the best and longest lasting marble run. After releasing your marble, you may not do anything to... Can't see everything I've written down. To alter its path. This was a good one, I thought. It was a giant marble, though. It was a huge marble.
Yeah, it was like a big glass paperweight.
Yeah. So this one was in the Taskmaster house. Everything's vibrating, sorry. You just talk. I'm fucking this up. Well, you do it.
So, yeah, where am I? I wrote down who needs wind. I don't know who the hell said that, but I put
Johnny.
that as a possible.
Johnny.
Well, there you go.
Who
I
needs
put that
wind
down as a. That's
when
right.
You have a
Now I'm
Vegas marble run. That's what he said.
So I put that down as a possible title. Yeah, I mean, they all had pretty decent ideas, I guess. Well, we'll get
Except
to
for
Milan,
Milan.
but yeah, we'll get to that. But I mean, Dizzy, listen to me. Daisy had like a zigzag thing, and if it hadn't hit the door frame, and it would have kept going down the hall. So she had 11 seconds, 21 frames. Johnny had a really good approach. He did a couple test runs. He just got straight ramp into the pipe, U-bend. But their attempt at, curling sweep and the leaf blower, which the leaf blower would have counted as, affecting the movement. So he would have been disqualified.
Yeah.
Had that
wind?
worked.
Who needs wind? Apparently you do, Johnny, because you were trying to make wind with it.
But since it didn't work,
he
didn't get disqualified.
Yeah.
And he was 8 seconds, 6 frames. Now, Richard had, I thought, a really good idea from the outset, but he did not account for the shitty pavement on the driveway.
Yeah. Concrete,
and like you said,
That's what happens.
He probably would have done a better job without even doing all the
if he just rolled it down and chose a bit where it didn't have a great big crack across it, it might have gone further than it actually did.
Yeah, but he still beat Johnny 8 seconds, 23 frames.
We're going to talk about Alex licking the marble or not? A moment of madness, wasn't it? Alex licked that marble. Why did he do that?
I don't know.
Daisy's thing was good though. It was a bit like Mousetrap. I thought that's what it made me think of.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought.
Yeah, it was good.
Because it was a good way to get a lot of rolling time in a smaller space because she had the zigzags, and so that was really smart.
Yeah.
We'll skip over Milan. We'll go right to Catherine first.
Catherine's is brilliant.
Because hers was brilliant. She kept testing and seeing that she just needed to raise the ends, and that thing. I mean, had she been able to find something that didn't have those ridges in it, that thing could have went for minutes.
Yeah. It was like an old leveling staff that she was using, which I quite admire. So, and I have to use it in my work sometimes. Not an old nice one like that, but a shitty modern plastic one. But which, if she probably would have been able to do it. It would have lasted a bit longer. But the old one has ridges on the side. Because when I first saw her using it, I was like, shit, that's going to fall off. Because the ones that I've used haven't got ridges on. But because it's an antique one, it's very cool. Yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. She's done well.
Yes. 32.4 seconds. I mean, she blew everyone else out of the water. Everyone that didn't get disqualified. Which brings us to Milan.
He nearly didn't get disqualified, though. It was just because...
Well, yes.
Catherine's was so great and his was so shit. And Richard dobbed him in, really.
Well, I mean, again, if he had been able to find a way, but of course there's all sorts of safety mechanisms on these machines that you can't start them with the door open now and things like that. But had he been able to start the machine and then throw the ball, the marble in while it was already running, I don't even know that he would have thought of that anyway. Yeah. But then he would have gotten away with it. But because he released it into the machine and closed the door and started it,
Technicality. At least he wrapped it up in a tea towel, though, because I was a bit worried when he first said washing machine. So this is not going to end well.
I got to imagine that the network has a sizable security deposit on that property and all the contents.
I reckon they probably own it now, don't you think?
Possibly. I know it was for sale for a while.
Yeah, but I think in between filming, it used to be up for rent, I guess. But I don't think it is now. And I know that the Horn section did a load of episodes in there when they weren't filming Taskmaster, because they had some people in there and they were mentioning, we're in the Taskmaster house. I'm just being a total geek now. I mean, I've no concrete proof on that. I just know that they were in the house.
No, but it probably, for who knows what it was costing them to rent the house. Mm-hmm. And then if they didn't own it, they would have to risk the owners possibly, that house not becoming available at some point. So it may have just been cost effective for them to purchase the house. And then when someday Taskmaster is no more, which we don't even want to think about ever being a thing.
Don't even say
that. So anyway, points.
So Catherine got 5 points.
Yep.
Daisy got 4. Richard got 3. Johnny got 2, and Moan got disqualified again. So, yeah.
So, we're back into the studio for the live task.
I thought this was one of the best live tasks of the series, and then maybe of all. It made me laugh a lot, anyway. I would have been rubbish at it.
I like when they involve Greg.
Yeah.
More than as just a spectator, because... I mean, so much depended on him in this one to be able to get, and oh god, some of those noises, I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
So heavily cut. Like when Alex was saying how many minutes it took for him to get, like Catherine's one, when she was trying to be a dolphin, and Greg was just
my god,
fuck, I may as well just, he said a lobster at one point. Like, do lobsters make noise? I don't know. Click, click, click.
Only when you boil them. No.
Did they scream?
No, people say that it's actually like the steam escaping from the shell, like you hear like a high pitched, but
yeah, because whelks do that as well.
I don't know anything about it. Yeah. So, communicate to the Taskmaster the item on your card. And we don't want to get Pete on our back or the vegans to get angry, Communicate to the Taskmaster.
We're not doing it. We're not boiling them. We're just talking about facts.
Okay, once more. Communicate to the Taskmaster the item on your card. You may only make noises. You may not use any actions or anything that sounds like a word. Slowest each round is eliminated. Last standing wins.
Okay.
So I've just written down basically what each person had to, sound out. They had to
animals, then they had food types, then they had machines.
Machines, then food types.
Machines, then food types. Sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Okay, they had animals, then machines, then food types. I don't know what you want to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, Daisy had an elephant, which, again, it didn't sound like any elephant to me, but he got there in the end.
I think because she moved her head, it kind of...
And again, does that count as an action?
Well, I don't know. Johnny was doing
Johnny with the spaghetti.
Yeah. Yeah, was good.
He clearly motioned. They were all yelling on my couch when they saw that. They're like, come on!
Well, I thought Daisy's really good. I mean, the elephant one was rubbish, but our fax machine, sausage and harp were all brilliant. Got them all.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get the elephant straight away. Fox as well. Who did Fox? Was that Johnny? Yes. I don't think I would ever have gotten that.
No. I was like, what the fuck is he trying to... I don't know. And Catherine, the dolphin, just...
Terrible.
Forget it.
Terrible. Like she didn't even try and change the noise either. She just kept with the same noise that she was making.
Just keep it. Well, and she kept saying, like, it's not coming out the way I want it to. It's not what I'm imagining. And I get that when you're trying to do something. And
I would be terrible at this. Like, especially if you had to look at him. I would just be terrible. Like, pulling them feet. I would just be laughing and not doing anything. Awful. I mean, Richard got off easy in round one. Oh, he got so easy.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. His second round though was a bit more difficult, but I'm in two minds as to whether a stapler is a machine. I don't know what the definition of a machine is.
Let's look it up.
Definition of a machine.
Machine. An apparatus using or applying mechanical power and having several parts, each with a definite function, and together performing a particular task.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought, right, so I've learned something today. A stapler's a machine. Okay, fair enough.
It's just not a powered machine. I guess it's a human, powered machine. It's not a self-propelling or motorized or anything like that.
So the first tangent of today was Marlborough Ranch. The second one is a stapler.
Daisy's fax machine. I mean, that was good. It wasn't
Brilliant.
how I might have done. I it's funny because I could hear them in my head as I'm figuring it out, and they say it, and I'm like, no, that's not what I would have done. But okay.
I don't know what a fax machine sounds like. I don't. Does it?
Because haven't you ever worked in an office with a fax machine? Are you that young?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't work in an office when I was younger, so I mean, I've been in offices now, but we had a fax machine, but it didn't do anything because no one uses them anymore, do they?
It basically almost sounded like, which you may also be too young to remember, the old dial-up internet.
Oh no, I've heard that noise before. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a dial-up.
It's similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, maybe it's a fax machine. I must have heard one to be able to guess that. But yeah.
So Johnny did a helicopter.
Yeah.
And Milan was microwave. That was great. He was, spot on with that.
I thought cash machine at first, like a ATM.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did the ping, right, okay, microwave.
Yeah.
His cornflakes impression was tough, though.
Food types is hard. Like, food's making a sound.
Yeah.
There
couldn't have been that many to choose from, really.
I guess, like, popcorn might have been another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other foods.
that make noises.
I mean, cornflakes. That was fucking insane.
You did it, though. You got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the last round was a harp by Daisy and a tambourine by Johnny, and Daisy won overall because she's the queen of impressions of food.
See, I did not get harp from that. That's not how I would, in my head, that's not how a harp sounds. But
no, I don't think it does sound
really
like that,
quickly.
but that's the only thing I guess, because I was like, what else can it be? I don't know. Just a heavenly kind of, she was trying to be angelic, wasn't she? And it puts you in mind of like harp. Yeah. No, I got it. So
Daisy won that.
Mm-hmm.
And that brought us to Richard with 9 points, Daisy with 11, Catherine with 13, and then we had a tie. Johnny and Milan with 16 points.
So they had a tiebreaker task. Work out how many sheets of toilet paper are on this roll. They had different kind of approaches. Johnny started by trying to count them and then average them up. Milan just looked at it and guessed. So Milan guessed 403 and Johnny eventually guessed 280 after shouting a load of other numbers. And he wins because it was confirmed to be 220 sheets.
Yeah. Must have been the very plush stuff, because that looked like it had a lot more than 220 on it for me, but
I don't know. I don't have an opinion either way.
Just my opinion.
I'm not a connoisseur of bog roll.
So Johnny wins the episode.
Yeah.
And we don't know where that brings us, because we did not since we're recording so late, we don't have the series scores, and they've already updated the website, so you know where we're at. You don't care. You don't come to us for news.
We're not the news. No. We're not the TV guide. We're not the news.
And
okay,
I don't have any news this week because I didn't have time to look it up.
2 bits of news then. The first one is Greg's apparently started filming on the series that he's doing, The Cleaner, which is an adaptation of a German sitcom/comedy drama where he plays a crime scene cleaner-upper, I guess. A cleaner at crime scenes. There was an article in the knowledgeonline.com this week saying that he started a 6-week shoot. A friend of his has posted on Facebook to say that he spoke to Greg on Wednesday, and Greg had told him he's hopeful that the series will be out in the summer, but if not, it'll be autumn of 2021. So that's something to look forward to. Bit different.
Absolutely.
And then the other bit of news, you go with the other bit of news.
Yeah, they've announced the cast for the New Year's special.
Yep, which is going to be on New Year's Eve or Hogmanay, depending on where you're from. 31st of December.
Yeah, they kind of went in a little bit of a different direction. They've had actors on before, obviously, but they didn't really stick with comedy, and they've got John Hannah, Krishnan Gurumurthy, who I hope I've said that right.
Yeah, Krishnan Gurumurthy.
Nicola Coughlan from the Dairy Girls, who I think will be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Love her. Where the hell are the other two? This article's fucking incomplete because it's only got three of them in
Rylan
it.
Clark Neal.
There we go. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's kind of like I think he came from one of those like Only Way is Essex shows or something like that.
Okay, that would be why.
He does he's a presenter, I think. And he's in adverts and stuff. And then there's I can't remember, is it Sarah?
Shirley Ballas? Is that her name?
Yeah, Shirley Ballas, yeah, sorry. She's from Strictly Come Dancing. She's like one of the judges.
Yeah.
I don't watch that, so I don't know. But yeah, she looks like fun. So yeah, Nicola will be good, like, to watch, I think. Well, it's always good, isn't it? They always pick a good team, a good ensemble. I think I'd read something, like Alex said in an interview, that they were toying with the idea of stepping away from having just comics on anyway, so this might be kind of a test, as well as it's been labelled as a special, just to see how they get on. So, hey, all Taskmasters, good Taskmaster,
so
right?
maybe when we get towards the end of this series, since we'll be, just a couple more weeks, it'll be towards the end of the year, just before the special, maybe we'll do a little bit of a preview on these contestants, ahead of the special. And then we'll obviously record a special for the special and see how many more times.
Not on
We'll see how many more times I can say special in this sense. No.
Special. We'll record a special. Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
We'll find out the lineup for Series 11 as well soon. I reckon they're just going to do the traditional tell us after the last episode of Series 10. Although there are approximately 200 people, probably more than that, probably about 1,000 people that live around London that know who that is anyway, but they're not allowed to say. Yeah, so exciting. And that's due to air in April anyway, that we all know that already.
So we won't have to wait too long. And I mean, we've discussed other plans for possibilities in between, but we're making no promises because we always seem to try and then, well.
Yeah, we like the idea of it. We're just lazy. Me especially.
Okay, so Melon Buffet Master. We got a ton of entries. I'm going to kind of read through them, and then we'll go back and give our scores. They're not going to be in any particular order because we're kind of leafing through Twitter to find them all. If we have missed any, just tag us in the tweet again or retweet it to us because sometimes we can't find them. And make sure you use the hashtag Melon Buffet Master. So we have one for the most narcissistic item prize task. Fiona gave us some naked boudoir photos of herself. They're tasteful. We didn't actually see anything, but the whole point is they're hanging in her bedroom and there are none of her husband. So she's basically...
Men don't generally do those though, do they? Like boudoir.
I've seen some couple ones, but yeah, it usually is a girly thing and women sometimes give them as a gift to their husband, which in itself is kind of narcissistic. Here's a gift, photos of me. I think he'd rather have the PlayStation 5. He's got you already, but...
Well, it's funny you say that. I did that as a wedding gift to my husband.
There you go.
Like it. And he bought me an iPad, just saying.
I don't ever take
any photos. It was more harrowing. It was horrible, It was awful. I didn't enjoy it. And that's what he said to me when I gave him it. He was like, wow, this must have, it's really thoughtful. And I know you wouldn't have enjoyed it. And I was like, no, I didn't. It was fucking horrible. And it was cold as well in the place.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. And then Fiona put in I didn't see any other entries for that one. So if we did miss them, again, just tag us again or retweet it. Fiona put in a bunch of bonus entries from New Zealand Taskmaster. So we've got the best thing to give an enemy, and she submitted a Christmas bauble, but it's got raw fish inside it. So it'll start stinking up on the tree. They'll be going crazy, tearing the house apart, trying to figure out where the fucking smell's coming from. It's devious and spiteful, and I like that because I am an asshole.
Me too.
She also submitted for the best heirloom a dollhouse that her own father made back in the late 70s, and now her girls love it. So it's nice, sentimental. That's exactly what an heirloom should be. What scares you the most? She said, actually, it's earthquakes. genuinely terrified every time we get one. And I live in Wellington, which everybody's probably seen on the news. They've had some pretty bad ones over the years. So that's madness. But she did say she put a video as a close second was the shower drain monster. And she started pulling out all the nasty hair in the shower drain with 3 long-haired females in the house. And that's the result. And, that made me a little bit sick. So I don't know if that might lose you some points because I didn't find it scary. I nearly lost my lunch, but we'll see. Most useless item, and I could totally relate to this, was some chocolate. But that's not the useless part. It was that it was a resealable packet. Yeah. Because why? Because you eat the chocolate. Nobody seals it up. Or you pretend you take a piece and then you seal it up and then you go put it down and then 3 minutes later you're back over opening the fucking thing up. And you're right. Having resealable chocolate is stupid. All right. So then Duncan gave us a most beloved family heirloom from New Zealand. Not much gets passed down through my family, but one thing of my grandma's I have is the lovely upright piano. A bit dusty, and I don't know how to play, but I couldn't find the delicious apple cake recipe she gave me. Well, I mean, a piano is a pretty nice family heirloom, I would say. Now, Lucas is catching up. He's done a few of the bonus tasks and one of the prize tasks from the UK show. So we've got... least useful item, and he posted a vacuum cleaner because he can't find the compartment that holds the dirt. So if you use it, the dust just gets projected back out into the air. Lucas, throw the vacuum cleaner away. Don't be a hoarder. Man. Don't be my grandmother. Get rid of it. Don't save it because you might find the container. Get rid of it. Get a broom and a dustpan or something and just be done with it. They have television shows about people like that.
You know what'll happen, though? You'll probably chuck the Hoover and then you'll find the thing. That's probably what's going through his mind.
100%.
That's just sod's law.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Best gift for an enemy. He was debating whether to use this for the least useful item, but he put it in here, a condom, but with needle poked through the middle. No explanation necessary.
Wow.
Yeah. Best thing within a thing, which was another New Zealand prize task. He said it's got to be a cookbook because within the book, you've got some of the best things to make and stuff your face and food. And I love cookbooks. I'm a collector. I've got way too many and I don't cook out of any of them. So, the best pointy thing is, of course, not one, but 2 giant Toblerones. And we do have them in the States, so you don't need to explain. But yeah, one of the greatest things of all time. I totally dig Toblerone, and the giant ones are, more chocolate, so what's not to love?
Yeah, I wasn't going to explain. Was that aimed at me?
No, he wrote it down there. He was just like, if they don't have them in the States, they're 10 pieces of triangular chocolate with almonds and nougat encased in a giant triangle. Because I guess he didn't know if we had them, but we're not totally uncultured. Everything's not Hershey's here, despite what you've heard. And then we got 2 New Zealand bonus tasks from Sarah via email. Best family heirloom. She gave us she posted a picture with the email, signed letter and photographs to her grandmother from Australian cricketer Don Bradman, because he played cricket with her grandfather when he was young. I don't know him. I assume he's a rather famous Australian cricketer. I didn't bother to look him up. I don't know much about cricket. I've always tried to understand cricket, and I don't get it. I don't understand the damn game. So, but it's a pretty cool family heirloom.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about cricket either, but I know it's quite big in Australia, isn't it? So
yeah. And then the worst thing to present to the Taskmaster, which I don't think anyone else has given us this one. So she is assuming Greg to be that Taskmaster, even though this is not a UK task. Okay. And she says the worst thing to present to Greg is the fan fiction about him made into an anthology book.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And she did say, she added a PS, if possible, she recommends watching this prize task because there is a very well done Taskmaster UK reference. So we'll have to see if we can find that and pull it up. But yeah, he would hate that. He would hate that.
I think I read something that made me think that Greg had done something for the New Zealand Taskmaster. I don't know if he did a little appearance or something. I was going to look at that, but I know where I can get the New Zealand episodes, so maybe that's something to look for.
Okay, so scores. So Fiona's boudoir photos, I mean, that was really good, and she was the only entry for the narcissistic prize this week, so I gave her 5 points.
I gave her 4 because I can relate to it.
All right.
Yeah. I did give 1 5 out this week, but that's it. I've been quite miserable, so sorry.
Hey, it is what it is. You're the moods of the Taskmasters, which for these purposes is us.
Melon Buffet Master.
So the bonus prizes: Fiona's best thing to give an enemy, the fishy Christmas bauble.
It's disgusting, but I like the nastiness in it, so 3 points.
I also gave it 3 points. Best heirloom, the dollhouse she's passed to her daughters.
Yeah, those freak me out for unknown reasons, so only 2 points.
All right.
That would be on my list of scary things, to be honest.
Is it just all the little miniature dolls? And
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think I've watched too many horror films with it, and it's just like, when I look at them, I go, oh, that's bad news. So,
I've given her 3.
And I never had one, so.
I've given her 3 points. Earthquakes. What scares you the most? Earthquakes.
Earthquakes are pretty scary, I would imagine. So yeah, 3 points.
All right, I gave her 4. It might have been a 5 if you hadn't made me watch that nasty shower hair, because that just knocked you down a bit. Chocolate with the resealable chocolate package.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's personal, but I'm not as much of a. It takes me ages to eat chocolate, so that's quite useful to me. So just 1 point. Sorry.
All right, I gave her 2.
And I get I get the meaning behind it. I mean, my husband, he will just scoff a whole bag of share chocolate, but I don't. So to me, it's quite useful.
Yeah, I gave her 2 points. I mean, I did appreciate that because I never reseal the fucking chocolate, but you know. On to Duncan, most beloved family heirloom, Granny's piano.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool thing, so yeah, 3 points.
All right, I gave him 4. Lucas with his shitty vacuum cleaner with no dirt cup.
3 points. Get rid of it. Throw it out.
Same, 3 points.
Excuse me.
Best gift for an enemy, condom with the needle.
Nasty. It's a nasty thing, and it's a nasty idea, so 4 points.
I gave him 5 for that one, because that's just fucking devious. Yeah. I mean, you're horrible. Basically giving your enemy, well, depending on where they stand, an 18-year commitment or an abortion bill, but whatever.
We're upsetting everyone this week.
Best thing within a thing, he said a cookbook.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of cooking. I've got quite a lot of cookbooks. I've got my grand's handwritten cookbooks as well that she wrote, so 4 points.
All right, I gave him 2. I mean, it was cool, but I don't know. It just didn't wow me. Best pointy thing for his giant Toblerones. 2 giant Toblerones, not 1, but 2.
Yeah, 2 points. Those things are impossible to eat. Nasty.
I gave you 3 points for that. And then Sarah, her best family heirloom was the autographed cricket photo and letter.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, so I think it's a pretty cool item, so 4 points.
All right, and I gave her 3. And worst thing to present to the Taskmaster.
5 points. It's the worst thing in the world. Anyone who's read even a bit of it, you'll know. It just, someone was talking about it on Reddit, and I posted a link to where they can find it from, and someone messaged me a few days after they'd already messaged me to say it was disgusting, to tell me that I'd ruined Taskmaster for them by posting it, even though I warned them. I said, be careful now, because if you read this, it is going to mess your mind up, and it's horrible and all this, and they still read it, and then it was still hurting them days later, which I laughed at, to be honest, but I shouldn't have.
I also...
But yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I also gave Sarah 5 points for that, because I just know how disturbing that shit is, and yeah, he would hate it.
Well, I told you, I had a load of ideas that I didn't sort out in time that I was going to add to the podcast, and I thought, maybe I'll just take little snippets from the fan fiction.
No.
And it can be like a little story. Well, I'll pick one story and we can read a bit each week, but it's too disturbing. It's awful.
No, we want to keep our listeners.
It's funny at first, but then it's like, oh no, stop. Come on.
And then once that shit gets in your head, it's hard to get out.
Yeah. Oh, I still remember I read one story and I could, nah.
Okay, so that brings our Melon Buffet Master board to Emma's at the bottom with 12. Karen has 17. Sarah's come on up to 23 points with her entries this week. Mr. Fiona has 29. Lucas has 51. Duncan has 65 and Fiona has 90 points.
Jesus.
So again, if there's any entries that we missed, just retag us or retweet them at us. If you've put in stuff for next week, we will get to it next week. We try and stick with the weeks, but we don't always get it right. It's all in good fun, guys. Just, send it to us again and we'll get you on the scoreboard. You can email us, melonbuffet@gmail.com. Check us out on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, @melonbuffet. I think that's all. We will hopefully be back in a couple days to get current with this week's episode.
Yep.
And then I think that'll do it for us.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.